The question is more geared towards Julio, but either one. Grant, are you cool with bringing in either one of these guys to this Niners roster as it sits?
I guess this assumes that you could get either one without trading a first-round pick because the Niners don't have first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this assumes you can trade a 2 or multiple 2s. And Julio Jones is great. He's a hell of a player. But the Niners already are an old team. They already have given away a lot of draft picks. I mean, Julio Jones missed 7 games last year. I wouldn't trade for Julio Jones, but I'd be open-minded if someone wants to make a compelling argument for why they need him.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 3 concerns. Right, there are 3 areas of 3 categories of concern for Julio, right? And here's the order of them for me. 1, cost of the trade. 2, his salary. 3, his production and his health. Historically, a very productive player. I do wonder if they had been better last year, if he would have ended up playing more than ultimately he did down the stretch. A hamstring is concerning for an older guy, but he still was on pace. If he had played a full season, 91 catches. I still think he's a really productive player. Like, I think he'll be healthy, and I think he'll be productive. But there are a couple other issues, which is what do you trade for him, and what he costs. Next year, when Trey Lance presumably is your starting quarterback and is your 10th most expensive player on the team, do you want Julio at $20 million to be your second or third most expensive player behind Armstead and, I don't know, Fred Warner, whatever that turns out to be? No. So I love Julio Jones. I think he's still really good. I'd love to have him, but I don't want to trade a second-round pick for him. And I certainly don't want to basically give him a 2-year, $43 million contract. And
this is still – go ahead.
I snuck that and on you. Your receiver's not like, to me, I hear this all the time from people, like, who's going to be the third receiver? Receiver is not an area that is not where I want to spend $20 million.
No.
You spent a first round pick on Ayuk, you nailed it. You spent a second round pick on Debo, you nailed it. You got Kittle, great. I mean, when you look, like, I went back and looked at the Chiefs last year. Guess who caught 26% of their passes? Kelsey. Guess who caught 20% of their passes? Hill. And then, everybody else was like 11% or less. So can you get – but that's not the way the Niners are built, right? The Niners are going to be a quarter of the passes to Kittle and then another 40% to Ayuk and Debo, and then you sprinkle everybody else in. So, that's the other part of this. This is not – in my estimation, it's not an area – it's not even a minor need.
See, it's a good thing you snuck that and in. Because I was gonna go right there. It's a good thing you snuck that in. I was gonna say, how much are they really gonna use Julio Jones? They have to get other people involved. Plus, it's primarily a run first team anyway. They don't throw the ball that much. I don't think they can justify it.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, let's really look at it. You said $20 million. Basically, he's paid next year as a 33-year-old. He's 32 this year. I think he makes around $23 million. If we keep him through the duration of the contract, that means he's 34, still making $20 million. The health is already starting to go. I do have concerns, though, with this wide receiver group. I know the thought is to look at it as the third receiver, but really we can almost bank on Debo missing a couple games. And so what happens when he goes out? This offense goes very stagnant, even when Kittle's in. Because he's not there for the end arounds. He's not there to bring the defense down. He just does so many other odd things that really help this offense tick. And so when he goes, what happens? It's a big reason why I thought Cordero Patterson would have been a great pickup. I'm looking at it now. I think Golden Tate would be a better pickup. Cheap guys, 1-year deals. That's kind of where I'm leaning. I love Julio, Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. But I just can't go. And then giving up a second rounder, let's throw that in, when this team, as I said, is already the second oldest in the league. How are you going to get younger going forward when you don't have first or second round pick? I don't think it works out very well. So, yeah, I'm out on Julio.
I think ideally what you have is somebody that can take some of the catch and run load off of Debo. Mm-hmm. Like, I think what happens, and you see it with Mostert, I think you see it with the 49ers running backs too. They are in several car crashes a game. And Debo in particular, I think, would really benefit from this team being able to more effectively throw the ball down the field so that some of his production can come through the air and he doesn't have to fight for every yard. And it's one of the things you love about him. Same with Kittle. Like Shanahan has a type, and that type plays a certain way.
Yeah.
And that style of play is dangerous in a dangerous sport. You see it with his running backs. Like you see it when you watch Elijah Mitchell's college tape. It's easy to watch him and go, that looks like a Kyle Shanahan running back. Because every guy that Shanahan puts in the game in running back looks as if he's been pumped up on the sideline. And I don't know what their 40 times are, but I know in the first 6 yards, they're running hard as hell. And it's great. It's great. It all looks the same and it's great. But we're seeing consistently, although that's not how Kittle necessarily got hurt last year, but we're seeing consistently that you're walking a fine line. And I think you're right about Deebo. Like it is fair to be concerned about Deebo Samuel from that perspective. And I'd like to, it's tough because it's what he does really well. He's such a unique part of your offense. And to me, this is where Trey Lance can help you a little bit. Not that I want to put,
thank you.
Not that I want to put him in danger, but that's an area where he can maybe just help diffuse some of the attention. And I think it also gets exacerbated when you have one injury and now the spotlight. Now it's like, well, what's going to happen today is it's got to be Deebo Samuel, right? When there's no Kittle. And so I think we see it's probably the case with every offense if we really looked at it, but there really is the chains can start breaking very quickly in this offense when you get one of those two or three star players.
Okay.
Plus, Lance can get the ball down the field, so Deebo won't be held back as much by Jimmy Garoppolo's limitations.